Springboard Roadshow Foundation, in partnership with the Mastercard Foundation and Solidaridad, present CoRe, the COVID-19 Recovery and Resilience Program.
Hello and welcome to the CoRe program. My name is Esi E Ansah and I'm a recruiter. I recruit people for companies. Today we're going to talk about interview skills. What do I do when I have an interview? And how do I excel once I go to the interview? I hope you'll find this very useful. We're going to split our conversation into 3 parts. First, we'll talk about what to do before the interview. Second, we'll talk about what to do at the interview, during the interview. And then lastly, what to do after the interview. And then we'll talk about some of the tough questions that people get asked and how to handle that. So let's get started already. Anytime you receive an invitation to go for an interview, it means that somebody has seen something interesting about you and they want to meet you and learn more and understand more about you. And so you make sure that you put your best foot forward. That way, once you go, you make sure that if there are competitors, you are the one who comes out actually getting the job. These days, because of how things are around us, interviews may be in person or maybe through going, online to have a virtual interview. What does that mean? It means that if you're supposed to show up physically at a place, you make sure that ahead of time, maybe a day or 2 before, you visit the place. You don't need to go in and tell them anything, but you want to make sure that you know where the building is, you know which floor you're supposed to go to, and you know how much time it takes to travel from your home to the location. So doing that is very, very important. If it's an online interview or maybe a phone interview, make sure that the technology is working. And so if somebody tells you, we would like to interview you on Skype, maybe you've never used Skype before, go online, find out about Skype, create an account, test it. Maybe it's Zoom. There are so many ways of doing interviews these days. So find out the method that is going to be used and then make sure that you are comfortable with it so that you don't have challenges on the day of. And then 2 more things. 1, be on time. And so when you are told the interview is at 9 a.m., you make sure that by 8:45 you are there. Don't go too early. Sometimes people will go 2 hours before. It might be that they don't have the room to accommodate you while you wait for that long. But make sure that at least 15 minutes before time, you are there. And then also it's important to make sure that you are properly dressed, formally dressed. No jeans, no t-shirts, no chalewote, no, casual wear. Dress as though you are going to, I was going to say going to church, but sometimes people dress up in a very flamboyant way to go to church. But you have to keep it simple. Make sure that for women, you're wearing a nice skirt or pair of trousers, covers you nicely, and a very decent shirt, a shirt that is not too tight. You don't have to go and sew new clothes and everything just for an interview. There are times when you can get clothes from the market. Simple, something that is very neat, very decent. And you want to make sure that your appearance is not too busy. And what I mean by that is between your earrings, your chain if you want to wear one, your clothes, your colors are simple. You don't have, let's say, flowers at the top and you have lines, in the skirt or whatever you're wearing, but make sure that you keep it simple, not too many, not distracting, okay? And for the guys, make sure that you're wearing a decent pair of trousers and a nice shirt. If you can get a long sleeve shirt, perfect. If you can add a tie, great. But just keep it neat. And also remember, your belt color should match your shoes. It doesn't mean go and buy some fancy new something, whatever you can afford. If you're wearing brown shoes, then it's a brown belt. If it's black shoes, then it's a black belt. All right, so keep it very simple and very neat. So let's assume that you've prepared and you've gotten to the location. And what do you do once you get there? Make sure that you are offered a seat before you can, sit down. And as you go through, let me give you an acronym. Think of ACCI, okay? So A, what does it stand for? Let's say ACCI, okay? What does A stand for? A stands for alignment, making sure that whatever they are looking for is what you are bringing, what you have. So let's say it's a restaurant, and the restaurant is looking to hire a waiter. And the restaurant tells you that they make a promise to their customers to make sure that they get their food very quickly. That means speed is important to the company. Then that means when you go, you make sure that you demonstrate that you can give the speed that they are promising. So if you go and you're very slow, some will say wah wah, you are not really engaging properly, they'll start thinking, nah, this person is not aligned. They are not similar to us. They are not like us. And so alignment is very important. How can you show that whatever is important to the company is important to you? And you do that through homework. Homework means that you go, you find out a lot about the company before you show up for the interview. So find out who they are, how long they've been in business, what they do, and you understand what's going on with that organization before you go for the interview. So alignment, very important. And then C, I said ACCI. C, competence. Competence. Whenever you see a job advert, you see that they tell what they are looking for. We're looking for somebody who can use the computer. We're looking for somebody who knows how to communicate with other people. We're looking for somebody whose writing is very good. Or we're looking for somebody who can do accounting, basic bookkeeping. Or we're looking for somebody who drives very well, because the role will require that they are driving back and forth. Make sure that you have the competence. So when you are going, all these things they are asking for, ask yourself, do I have what they are looking for? Do I have a driver's license that is valid? In the case that they are asking me for to come in and then be able to drive. Ask yourself, if they say we're looking for a cook, do you know how to cook in a commercial place or in a restaurant? Have you done some before? Make sure that whatever it is they are looking for you to come and do, you've done some before, or you understand how it's done. So that in the interview, when you are asked questions, you can be very specific and you can show how, yes, I know how to use Microsoft Excel. Yes, I know how to do proofreading. Yes, I know how to drive and I have a commercial license. All those things are very important. So competence. How do you build your competence? Make sure that you are practicing. And so even if you are sitting at home, you don't have a job yet. Maybe you have a laptop that you can use. If you don't have a laptop, we still have some cafes and comm centers in our communities. Can you go and sit there and learn how to create your own CV using Microsoft Word? That's an example of practice. If, let's say, every month you want to calculate how much money you spend on transportation, a good opportunity is to go and sit down in a cafe or behind your laptop and learn how to use Microsoft Excel to do those calculations. That is practice. That is how you build your competence, so that by the time you find a job, you've actually learned how to use the tools that they're asking for. So very important to build your competence through practice, through volunteering. Maybe you can volunteer. Sometimes we have some of our parents or aunties, uncles who have businesses. If we can learn how to go in, volunteer, help, then we are building our competence and our experience. Now, when you are done with the interview, in fact, during the interview, let me mention one thing. I said ACCI. So you have alignment, you have competence, you have confidence. Confidence. Very important. So confidence, how you hold yourself up, how you look at people. In our culture, sometimes we are told you don't look at people in authority or older people in the eye. However, in an interview, if you're looking away and you are not making eye contact, it suggests that you are not confident. So you have to build the practice of looking people directly in the eye and talking comfortably with them. Be confident. Practice. Don't over-practice, but practice. And as you do that, you get comfortable during the interview and you sound natural. The last alphabet, I for integrity, most important thing. Don't go and lie. Don't go and tell stories, things that are not true. Make sure you are yourself. You are being very honest. You are saying what you mean. If you are asked a question and you don't know, you mention, oh, I don't know about this, but I'd like to go and read more about it. When you're asked something, don't embellish. Don't add on and exaggerate. Say it as it is, okay? Let's mention 3 tough questions that people get asked. Now, 3 tough questions. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about yourself. Some people will start with, oh, I am a gentleman of 20 years and I've done this and I've done that. I come from Kumewu and I've done... No. Start with a plan. Break your story up into bits. So here's an example. If you ask me, tell me about yourself and why you are interested in this job. Okay, I'll break it up into 3. So my response to that question would be, I'll tell you about my past experience. I'll tell you about what I'm doing right now and what I'm interested in. And I'll tell you about my future plans, my career interests. That way, whatever I'm telling the interviewer is very organized. So in the past, I have gone through school, and when I was in school, I was very interested in working with my hands. And so I did a little mechanical engineering, or I did a little sewing, or I did a little, the activity that I did. And currently, because of my interest, I'm helping my mom with her chop bar, or I'm helping my mom with her restaurant. In the future, I want to build a career in restaurant business, in hospitality. And that is why I'm applying for this job, to work in the restaurant. That is a good example of how to break up the question. And then the last thing I'd say is, when you're asked, how much do you want us to pay you? Always give a minimum. And so give a floor, never give a ceiling. Tell them the minimum that I would want to take is, and then you give them your minimum. If you give a minimum and a maximum, then you are telling them that if their budget is higher than your maximum, then they should keep their money. But you don't want to do that. You want to tell them that the minimum I will start negotiating from is 1,000 cedis, 700 cedis, or whatever the amount is. I hope that this is enough to give you information on how to prepare for an interview and what to say. Thank you very much for joining us. And please feel free to download the workbook for core.com.gh, that's CORE.com, and also listen to and watch our other episodes on a radio or TV station in your region. And if you need counseling or mentoring, or you'd like to talk to somebody, or you want any information on the CoRe program, send us a WhatsApp message. And please listen to the number carefully. It's 055 153 5533. And we'll be glad to get back to you. So have a great day. And let us know when you go and you try these things and they work. Thank you very much.
A presentation of CoRe, the COVID-19 Recovery and Resilience Program.
Back to the basics.